I want to write a murder mystery about a detective who has a pooping problem. It'll be called A Shart in the Dark.
Seth has tales and John's got some tales about fighting, penis, jokes, religion, and whiskey. Where the monster compiles Philistines to tales from the ditch.
Tales from the Ditch, in what will most likely be a disaster. We're having many people call in. I've already kicked something over and my phone isn't working. It's going to be fantastic.
And you're not wearing pants.
And not wearing pants. And we have Nathan, not Nasty Nate. Nathan and Clif.
What's up, Clif? You still there?
I'm still here.
Oh, good. Okay.
I was just on.
Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate that. It makes it a little less confusing, I think.
I agree.
So I sent out the invite. Seth was clever, and he sent out the invite to specific people. I sent out the invite on Instagram to everybody in the world who follows us. And so I said, hey, go ahead and download Discord, join the server, and we'll have a good podcast tonight. And so it was like, I don't know, 11:30, and somebody jumps on, and I didn't realize Discord was running. And I was like listening to music and cussing at my Visual Studio program that I've been debugging. And somebody jumps on and goes, hello? And I go to Discord real quick, and I see somebody's logged in as Nasty Nate 69. And I go, oh, hey, what's up? We're recording at 7. We're not recording till 7. Sorry for the confusion. And he goes, all right, I'll talk to you then. But he hasn't come back yet. And I was like, was that Nasty Nate Hartley?
And it was not.
It was not. But
I blame a Holland. It was probably a Holland.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Worse than dwarves.
Wherever you are, Nasty Nate, we hope that you come back. I'm sorry that you startled me and I didn't know how to do it. And so it was super funny because I don't know what he heard, but I had like music going and I was just super frustrated debugging C# code. And he was just like, hello. And I feel bad. So I hope he comes back sometimes during this podcast.
Yeah, he won't.
That's all I have to say.
That's the whole podcast, is us apologizing to Nasty Nate 69 as well as Buttmaster 420 and everyone else who tried to log on. So
here was a great thing, though. So we recorded the last podcast that we published with Clif, talking about the greatest fights ever.
I think I listened to that one this morning on the way to work.
Yeah, right? It was good. And Clif sends us a text. Clif, if I can't talk about this, let me know. But Clif sends a text saying, do you hate the way that you sound? And Seth said, yes. And I said, yes, because the great thing about your own voice is that you always hate it.
Thought we'd get a response there, but nope.
My computer cut out just at the wrong time, so I missed what you said.
Sean, and this is what means the most in the world to me. And there's silence.
There you are, Clif.
Any of that, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was just talking, Clif, about how you said you hated listening to your voice on the podcast. And I said, I hate that I exist. And you said, yes. We are brothers.
We are brothers, exactly. We are definitely in that way. Total conspiracy.
I honestly thought we'd our big plan was we'll have people call into a show. And then we realized, well, we don't really have a phone line. And we posted a link where everyone can call and everyone can jump in. And we don't know what questions we wanted them to ask. And we didn't organize it. And I was nervous, but Sean's like, no, this will be fun. So,
and it's going great.
I have.
Hello?
Podcast.
Okay.
All right. So probably under do not follow God, but God's power. So even though I don't follow God and the edge of God is real, I think the touch of God in you guys, okay? If you are talking and trying to make me your side of the story, what would you say to me?
Oh, wow.
Dang.
I thought you were going to ask me about weed or something.
No way, buddy.
Oh, jeez.
It's deep right
Well,
now.
Sean would be happy to answer this question.
Yeah, Sean.
Oh gosh. Well, first of all, politically, I just wanted to say thank you for your answer, and I hear what you're saying, and I think your hair looks great. But emotionally, emotionally, let me say this. I really appreciate that, and I honestly think in the grand cosmic universal scheme of things, I do feel like that is part of how God has created the universe to work in a way where people will see God has created the universe in a way where people will see himself through other people and the way that other people hopefully are different from the mainstream society, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ben's dog agrees.
He's loud.
That's not even mine. It's the neighbors. Going back
So-
inside. Being
so-
a jerk.
This is what I would say, Cliff, because Sean is a politician. He's a politician by nature. You can't trust him. Snake
Damn
oil
you.
salesman. I've said it for years. No, I think that's what Sean's saying is true. First off, that ideally it shouldn't be me yelling at you, berating you, trying to make you a Christian. I think it's a good enough story on its own. I don't need to defend it. I think through my actions and how I am as a person and friend will declare something much louder than trying to make you a Republican or yelling at you about a verse and controlling your behavior, which is just
Sure.
a nagging parent.
Right.
But I think it's a good question. I've said this to people before. Whether you're atheist, agnostic, or Christian, the question of why is always something that philosophical minds are going to ask.
Right.
Because even if you say, well, I do this, and I know how I do this, and I know what the end, result is, there's always, well, why? And if you say, well, the universe, was created this way or came into being through the Big Bang or whatever you think, there's a question of, okay, I know how I arrived here scientifically, but why am I here? So I think why science is a beautiful thing, but I think the mistake some people make, because some people have said, philosophy is dead, science has killed it. No, you will always have, even if it's a child saying, but why? And I think it goes with your question, because even of going, well, I don't believe in God, but I see the touch of God and I wonder about these things. And I think that in itself is just a healthy place to be, to say, well, why do I wonder that? And why do I even give a crap? And why these douchebags try to act nice to me? And why, it's a good question, because you see guys even like Plato, Socrates, even guys who didn't believe in Jesus went, well, why? Because I think it's a part of not just men's souls, but everyone's souls to go, you know what? I look at this crazy world. I need some compartment to put in, or some understanding of what's going on. So if in any way Sean and I's actions encourage that curiosity and that idea of at least looking at that different aspect of humanity, which is spirituality or that metaphysical realm, then I'm happy with it. And even if the next day you go, well, screw you guys, I go, well, I still like you. I think you're great. And I love you. So to me, it's win-win, because either way, we're not friends with you because you're a project. We're friends with you because you're our friend. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Well, I mean, I've changed so much that just the touch of whatever it is, if it's abstract, it's concrete. What I've seen it's real, and if I can see it, then it's concrete. So
yeah.
And I've never thought of God as tangible, but seeing it. Oh man, hello.
Hey, I can hear you.
I hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, man. You're still good.
Oh no, you're muted now, Cliff.
Okay, how's that?
That's good. That's good.
Okay.
You were doing good. We were still picking up everything you were saying, man.
Okay. So you guys, real for me, right? I'm not saying that I want to go every Sunday, go to Bible study, but it's definitely there, right? And it could be my age. It could be wiser to what's actually happening in my how I live my life around me. But I mean, I can definitely it's been very eye opening to understand that spiritually, it's true, right? It's not in the spirit realm. I mean, it's here, definitely tangible.
That's actually really encouraging. I don't know about you, Sean. That's like the best thing I've heard this week since I heard Uncle Donnie was giving me money. So
Money.
That's super encouraging to me. And I just want to say, like, to kind of echo what Seth has already said, that like we like you, Seth and I like you for you because
Sure.
you are you, not
Yeah.
because of any other reason. And like the things that we appreciate about you is literally things that I would say, from my perspective, is how you were created to be. And I think that's awesome. And it's like, it's not even, there's no conflict. Like, it's easy for me to say that I enjoy Clif as a person just because of that. And it's easy for me also to say that I'm free to be who I am just because I feel like I was created to be this way. And and so like when I try to reconcile whether or not there's a God sovereignly in control of everything, who's creating me to be the way I am or you to be the way you are, it's just actually, I feel like it's a lot more connected than saying that there's some type of universal randomness that arrived at this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so yeah, that's like that's part of the reason why I think you're a great guy and I like hanging out with you, because I really do think that like the part of you that is individual and your own person is like created to be that way. And
you like good beer.
Yeah, and whiskey.
And you've got a hell of a right hook.
Damn straight.
What about you, Hartley? Anything to add, Hartley?
Well, yeah. I don't know if Clif and I have ever talked before. I grew up going.
Actually, we haven't. I don't know if I've.
Yeah, I grew up going to shows.
You were in the hardcore scene, Nathan. How long were you in the hardcore scene, Nathan?
I think I started going to shows in about 04-ish.
Oh, yeah, I might have met you then.
So, but, at that point I was probably 14, 15. So I was one of the kids, and I was around you a bunch, but I don't think we've ever had a conversation or anything.
Oh, okay.
But,
nice.
Yeah, but definitely went to a lot of the same concerts over the years.
Well, and all of us have that. That is how we all ultimate. But I mean, the reason why I asked that, so not into God in punk, and I mean also on that as well. Most of a really chaotic timing up. God adds order, right? God gives you that why. So when you grow up in that, you don't believe that it can be anything other, right? So when you finally see the order of things, like, it's really the eye opener.
That's good.
Yeah, and I think that's, like, I was a Christian kid when I started going to shows, so I was kind of an outlier in the punk scene because I was one of in the minority of Christian kids there that kind of was on the outlier there, but at the same time felt more at home in the punk and hardcore scene. And
you know how it is there. It's kind of like it's easy to have your own ideals in there as a whole, but it's not easy, right? But as a whole, we'll all promote like that, the exchanging of ideas. But I think individually, it's not like that.
Yeah, and I'd say for me, kind of with this and your original question too, for me, the driving question and my questions of faith and things like that have always been, I can't get away from seeing the touch of God, similar to what you've said, in people's lives, how he's changed people in ways that I can't explain, to say, okay, I can't explain this away. So what is this? Is this a what? Is this a who? If this is a who is God? What does he say? What does he say about himself, about me? How do I represent him well, aside from all the other bullshit that can get in the way that I say, no, I don't think that looks like God. That's always been the driving thing for me to figure out, all right, I don't feel like I'm the Christian that all these other hardcore and punk kids are reacting against.
Right.
But at the same time, I can't get away from this. I can't explain this away. So what does it mean to be genuine about this?
So, Nathan Hartley, true or true? Donald Trump will fight Magog with a mace in the future battle. Answer.
Super true.
Super true. You know what I appreciate about Nathan Hartley, Cliff, which is, so he's been consistent my whole life, where even when I was a total just dick to him, he's like, I love you, I care about you. I go, I'm mad at my dad, I'm gonna fight everyone. He goes, well, I love you. That's cool, man. Like, he is consistent. And I think that's the big thing. Like, I care less about that if Maverick grows up to lecture people. Like, he doesn't need to do that. But I want to know, okay, is he consistent? Is he faithful? Where people go, you know what? Maverick is that guy who'll show up. Maverick is that guy who, he'll be there. He'll take care of you. Man, that guy is humble. That guy's faithful. I care way more about that than I do of like, man, Maverick is so good berating me on Facebook, and he lectures so well, and he's so good arguing in my comments section and calling me a libtard and saying terrible things. Like, man, I just, it makes me think, man, I want to follow Jesus. Like, I love being mocked, and it's so dumb versus, how about this? Like, sit down with someone. Like, I've had people disagree with me. I go, all right, man, let's go get coffee. I don't really want to argue with you. I'm not here to win an argument. I'm here to show you I love you. Right. So, and Nathan was that guy where I was like, why is this guy acting like this? Like, I've given all the subtle hints and threats that I don't like him. And he just was so consistent with caring for me, where he was that dude where when my life was a mess, I'm like, crap, I got to text Nathan. I was like, I should text him.
And I think that went both ways too, where I can remember times where, you know, I was a knucklehead 17-year-old, just like everybody else is, and times where I was getting more caught up in the scene drama and politics and the meathead mentality, and you're like, you know better than this crap, Nathan. Don't get sucked into this. Like, okay, you're right.
Don't act like me.
I think something that I really connect with to Cliff is how you're kind of saying that the punk and hardcore scene almost in a way like adopted and made you into like its child. And I totally understand that to some degree, because there was just no other lifestyle that I felt as accepted as I did in that. And maybe it was because I was kind of a loser, and that this lifestyle is known for kind of accepting the losers who are on hard times and have a difficult life and don't have the kind of fairy tale type of situation.
Sure.
But one thing about that I see, I guess actually part of it is one thing I have to say, and this is an aside, and I'm sorry to go off topic, but nowadays I've realized how much more punk and hardcore is truly mainstreaming itself with all of the other things, right? And not accepting that loser, right? And so you see fashion in punk being more important than your ideal,
right?
And you see status in hardcore being more important than your ideals, and that's the absolute opposite of why I got into it, which is why when I was in middle school and kids were listening to Wu-Tang Clan, I could not be a part of it, because even if you ride a skateboard, it was just so antithetical to me. But I realize now that that's just me having beef. But anyways, getting back to your main question, when I have truly considered all of the personalities that I could get behind, and I'm talking like Buddha, Dalai Lama, Muhammad, Bruce Willis, any of those other people, I honestly felt like Jesus was the punkest dude among them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he didn't care what anybody thought. And he whipped people, and he got hardcore, turning over tables, and he loved people no matter what they looked like, despite the mainstream culture, and many other things. And those things appealed to me so much that I really do feel like I learned to love Jesus the way that in my mind, I thought I was loving punk rock. And he was the most legit punk rock dude that I ever saw. Everybody who I followed, and became a protege of in punk rock, turned out to be a freaking poser
Yeah.
and sold me out as soon as they possibly could. But Jesus never has. And I always think that's super cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean,
Yeah.
unrelated question, which I won't exploit. How do you, in the chat, type things so that it says funny, silly things that will interrupt
There's no
you?
way. I didn't hook it up. We hooked up a special
Dang
thing
it.
called Me6, and it doesn't do that for you.
So
I'm sorry. I know you want the soundboard. We're not doing
I
it.
would type in these terrible sound bites to interrupt Sean and ruin the podcast, and
Yes.
Sean had taken away my toy.
Dude, when we get money, we're going to buy recording equipment, a producer,
That's
A
right.
duck with
We're
a
gonna do
cannon.
proper.
That's right. We'll have Jamie instead of Craig.
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
You know,
goodness.
You know what I really want to know is what
Well, see you guys later. I'm
69
out.
thinks about all this.
Where the hell is Nasty Nate Big Jungle
I
of
know.
Love?
I don't think he's coming back.
And
I want to
who
know
is this
who
nasty
of us
Nate?
that follows us.
I
He's
just
a
want to
fuck
say, Nasty Nate 69. I'm sorry, I did not put the correct time on the Instagram story.
Nasty Nate 69? That is,
Yeah,
that's
who is
rad.
that?
Unless it's a Holland, then you should never apologize.
Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah. I forgot to bring this up because this is what grinds my gears. Sean, I got called a boomer today. I'm 36. What the heck?
I did too in the same chat. But I guess boomer.
No, you're not. I thought baby boomer it's like 55 and up.
Yeah, I'm X generation.
Yeah,
I am an old millennial who has insurance. That's it.
yeah. I think we're zillennials, starting with an X. Me and Seth, but
Are we?
still, none of us are boomers here. None of us are responsible for building my house with absolutely no square corners whatsoever.
Looks like somebody else just joined.
Oh, Emily, who's that?
What's up?
Is that
How's it going?
Emily Fernandez?
It's going good.
It's
This is Emily Fernandez from RCK.
Awesome.
So instead of asking permission, I just tagged her in the comments section while you guys were talking. So, yeah. Emily, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing all right. Nothing too crazy happening.
I can't remember. All right, so Emily, we have Coach Clif on here, our friend Nathan Hartley. I'm trying to remember. So I didn't think you had, but maybe I'm wrong. Did you have any smokers or amateur matches? This is Emily from RCK.
No, I have not yet. I was going to, but then COVID.
But you're gonna
Oh, the
smash
apocalypse?
Yeah, then the pandemic and everyone dying. So nope, not yet.
Okay, because this is why I thought it was cool to get her on here because so our sport, Muay Thai, I think a lot of people just think of it from the male side, but if you look it up, there's like some dope female fighters who are coming up. There's Janet Todd from the U.S. She actually just won the title in ONE FC. You have Jazz Parr. You have Tiffany Van Soest. If you look up Denise Kielholtz from the Netherlands, she's awesome. And Emily Fernandez is a 12-time Taekwondo black belt champion. And I thought it'd be cool to have a female practitioner from there because I think we think like, oh, it's just Muay Thai men, but like there's a women's division that Janet Todd, I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't fight her without a gun. Like she's rough. Clif, have you ever sparred Emily? Is he still here? I hope Clif is still here. Hope he didn't leave.
He was
Maybe
just
I saw
like
him
he
spar.
heard me and bounced.
He just left.
I'm still here. I'm sorry. Yes, I
Mm.
I have it, and it sucks.
Her and I think were only doing boxing, and I just kept moving forward, moving my gloves apart so that I could remember what it's like to get punched, and she just kept slugging me in the face. So yeah,
It's a fun sport.
what got you into Muay Thai, Emily?
So originally what got me into it was I had some mutual friends who went to the gym. Like, hey, Emily, I think it'd be really good for you. You tend to be a semi-aggressive person, and I think this would be a great outlet for you. And I was like, this seems like something I'm interested in. And after like I think I went to like one women's class on a Saturday. And after that, I was just like, this is it. This is the sport I love. Like, so much fun. And I was really lucky to go to this gym and find like such a great community. So that was like something that really turned me on to it. Just people there are really awesome. And it was just kind of one of those things that like I just fell in love with. And I miss it like crazy right now. It's driving me nuts. But yeah, so that's kind of it. Just one of my friends was like, you should go to this gym if you want to do something that's going to help with your, because I tend to be slightly aggressive, but it's helped. I have not been as aggressive, so that's good.
Yeah, I guess you're less aggressive.
Well, I am when I mean, kind of. In the gym I am, but outside of this aggressive there. That's the way to put
Has it been like emotionally healthy for you? Just like,
yeah,
and even like
a
mentally?
huge emotionally helpful. Yeah, definitely. It's helped deal with like a ton of like trauma I've had in my life. Just it's a very good mental outlet for me. It's something that like, because I also like to deal with like I do therapy too, and like my therapist even said, she's like, this is just great for you. Like, it's helped you so much. It's just helped me like want to get into better physical and mental state. It's been something that's just kind of driven me to finding a better me, which has been really rad too. It's been an interesting last year and a half that I've started it. So I'm fairly new to the sport. So I still have like a ton to learn, obviously, but I love it. I enjoy it a lot. It's a good thing. Good gig over there.
If you let me corner you, Cliff and I can put poison on your hand wraps and gloves.
All right. Sounds good.
Just
I'm
saying.
down.
I mean,
I'm down. I'll let you. I'll kick Carlos out, and I'll let you. Just don't tell Carlos.
oh gosh, I have a feeling someone will tell Carlos. Nathan Harley, why don't you do Muay Thai?
I've just never gotten around to it. I don't know why. I thought about it.
Yeah,
I think I was working full time and in school for like 8 years, so I just used that as my excuse for so long, and I'm still kind of in the tail end of going, wow, that's nice not having homework to do every night. And then I had a kid. And that's the best excuses I can come up with.
But don't you want to physically harm people? I mean,
well, yeah.
You mean you don't keep your child?
I wasn't gonna go there.
Dude, it's the best. They don't even block the kicks. It's just good reps, good time. Sean has come to RCK and he has sparred with Surge, the Eastern Bloc, the giant. You Superman punched him, didn't you?
Yeah. After he was punching the top of my head a lot. I don't know if you could call it a Superman punch. Brennan was having a fun day, and he was trying to teach us a Superman punch. And whatever I did, I don't think counts as technically a Superman punch. But everybody still laughed.
Yeah, I teeped this little guy in the face, and no one's let me live it down, even though I felt super bad about it. So
the thing is, though, like you were saying, Emily, it really does help you to work out aggression and kind of deal with trauma in a weird way. It's like not like you're sitting in front of a therapist, but it's almost as good as therapy.
Oh, definitely. I think it's like been something that's because definitely has helped me with like a lot of traumas, and like I've been going to therapy for years, and this has helped me like improve in like the last year. I feel like just with even just like anything, just from not feeling like I have like a really good sense of to finding like some of the most amazing people that I know. Like I have grown so much, and I've grown in friendships with some people that I didn't even think that I would have friendships with, and just finding like that sense of good family and circuit of community that I can go to even like issues, like real life issues too. Like it's not just like a gym where I feel like I have to go and I'm gonna get yelled at and told how much I suck the whole time. Like just like a really good positive environment, which has helped me greatly over like the last year. It's been awesome.
How does that make you feel, Cliffy?
I just have to ask if you guys move around light, need your mouthpiece.
Wait, say that again?
What?
I just want to know if you guys want to move around light. You don't need your mouthpiece.
That's what I've been doing that this whole time. I've been shadow.
We aren't going to spar. We aren't going to spar with light, so you don't need your mouthpiece.
Perfect.
When I sparred Emily, I tried to make a habit of just literally moving my hand so it hit me directly in the face and trying to smile or whatever, because I feel like the most discouraging thing you can do is smile to someone after they punch you. And also I want her to like, I was like, yeah, I think this would be fun. Like let her get to like sock someone in the face and
You
see
just
like,
talked a lot of to me too.
yeah.
It was like weird stuff too. It was like about my cooking that I wouldn't know that you knew about. It was like real random.
Yeah, I was like, have fun with your student loans. And she's like axe kicking me in the face. And, but no, I think you were good with it. And it's so good to see that where I'm like, man, I feel like having a good group of men and women, you know, male and female fighters, I feel like we sharpen each other better. You get different perspectives. You get to see how different people spar and they bring their experiences into gym. I mean, when I came back and finally was like, okay, I'll do a smoker after like an amateur match that didn't go well, I worked with Clif and them. And I remember, I know it's not the be all end all, but when I lost like 30 pounds and felt mentally healthy, I was like, I love this place. It was great. Like it was good for me. So.
Well, and I mean, your gym or whatever you're as good as you have around. So I think that we built a good place to come and feel safe and to grow. And that's hard to find. I mean, honestly, like the staff we want good people there because they make us better as well. I mean, they make us want to make them better. And
Yep.
when you can influence their lives and help them, you know, do what they want to do, achieve their goals. I mean, that's what life's all about, right? It's all about helping other people. So when you can do that and you can see it, when you can see it happening every day, like, for example, John, Seth, Em as well, just the short time I've been there, you guys have all gotten better, improved as humans in a whole, but that's as a whole, excuse me.
Holes.
As a whole.
Lots of holes.
That was a Freudian slip, but I'll allow it.
Okay.
My hole has improved.
I love you. So anyway.
Oh, dear.
So anyways, so I mean, as a whole, and it's through us having that where our gym, our community, as who's there, and all of you.
Yeah, I agree so much, Cliff. And like coming back to your original question, when I went to RCK, I'd had experiences with gyms and martial arts and stuff that weren't so good, right?
Sure, yeah.
But when I get there, and I'm doing stupid stuff because you guys, Seth and Cliff and Emily, probably have all seen how uncoordinated I am, but I'm being affirmed and I'm being helped to be as good as I can be. And that affirmation that I'm there to improve, but I'm not there to be taken advantage of is like really helpful to me in my soul. And that's part of the reason, Cliff, to your original question, why like church, or I should say certain churches has been good to me. And so like the same thing, there's like some gyms out there that are just going to tear you down and make you feel enough shame that you would improve. But that's not how RCK works. And that's like the great thing about it is I go there and I've worked with like, you know, Cliff and Carlos and Pete and Seth and Brennan, like people who are at the top of their game and way more advanced than me, but they never made me feel like I was out of place. And I think that's like a really good, awesome thing.
Yeah, well, you know, and I mean, I didn't work to get to where the only good my knowledge does is if I pass it down. So
that's not what Steven Seagal said.
Dude, it's I mean, he's an ass, but it's true. I mean, I hate that guy and his stupid ass glasses. I mean, it's true. If you learn something to yourself, that does nobody it does nobody any good because your knowledge is going to die with you, and that's what's the point of that, right? I've never understood why it's such a valuing knowledge. I mean, there's books, there's the internet, there's no in this life. So if you can just understand how to pass down that knowledge to whoever you're around, and I mean, people come to RCK to gather that there because they don't want to learn. If you're not willing to tell them everything you know or show them but to also in a way that speaks to them as a person, then you're just not doing it the right way. You just and I mean, but MMA and martial arts are odd only because they have a value to them, right? It's no longer just the passing down of what you know to student or each practitioner. once you hook a monetary value onto that, then it becomes a commodity sold. Once that happens, you don't get that unless you pay for it like handsomely, right? But I believe in it doesn't. I do this for free, right? And that's
And cocaine.
I mean, I do this for free.
Wild card. All right, wild card, Cliff and Sean. I did not run this by Sean because I'm not under contract and I don't care. Wild card. So, Nathan, starting with you, I want a story of hijinks. It doesn't matter if it's legal, illegal. What is a ridiculous thing you did? This is Tales from the Ditch. We bring the heat, and we need to get back our sponsors because they all ditched after COVID. So, Nathan, starting with you, what's a story of hijinks, possibly wrapping your hands in sheets and punching your older brother?
We didn't use sheets when we hit each other. Man, trying to think hijinks that I haven't shared before.
But you did punch your older brother, correct?
Oh, yeah. I remember, him and I got in a huge fight often. I'm the youngest of 5 kids. They didn't realize that my older brothers didn't realize that after years of beating on me, that made me tougher than them. So they had their day of reckoning when I was in high school. It was glorious. But no, I think hijinks, we used to go car surfing a lot. So we'd get like the plastic egg crates from behind like grocery stores and stand in that and hold on the car door, like ollie up onto curbs and over speed bumps. And I think one night I might have gotten concussed at a concert. I'm pretty sure I did.
Sorry.
I don't remember. It might have even been a Halloween show. It was at the VFW hall. That's all I remember. I don't remember.
Double sorry.
No, I do remember. It was Through the Eyes of the Dead and Winds of Plague at the VFW hall. And I got concussed, so I wasn't in my right mind. And I decided, hey, let's go car surfing at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I think I got up to 65 miles an hour.
Holy crap.
I did it, and then Luke Holland did it. And at that point, the bottom of the crate was gone, and his shoes were smoking. And I think I was in my skivvies, if I remember correctly.
Now is not the time to get me aroused, Nathan.
Your video's turned off.
Goodness. 65 miles per hour.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was up by North Valley's High School on a state, this long stretch of road.
Follow-up question, why aren't you dead?
I don't have an answer for that one.
Holy crap, dude. And you were worried about me for headbutting random people trying to shoot cops, but you're driving around in carts. Oh, crazy Harley.
Yeah. Standing in a box, holding onto the car door.
I forget who it is, but one of our friends from this family, the Schrocks, I think it was, while someone was driving, just thought it would be funny to open the door and step out of the car and roll. And they didn't roll. And we don't talk about this anymore. So goodness, Nathan, that makes me like you even more than I already did. Like, I already liked you. Now it's like you can come to my birthday.
Actually, I don't think I was in my skivvies. I was wearing a pair of Evergreen Terrace booty shorts that said "Can't touch this" across the butt.
Evergreen
That's the
Terrace.
best story ever.
And I remember because we sped past some old guy getting his mail, and he looked so confused.
Goodness. So it'll go me, then Cliff, Sean, and then Emily. We'll have the penultimate, no pressure, ridiculous story. So we went to a store because we were bored and didn't drink or smoke at the time, and bought 10 different 1-gallon jugs of water because that's what you do at 2 a.m. And driving in my friends, I think it was a Honda Civic, we looked for people to drive by and throw gallon jugs of water at them because I was a sociopath. And driving down Keystone, I saw basically what is a straight edge kid's like unicorn that they have to take out, a juggalo walking down the street. Like full face paint. You can smell the desperation in Sun Valley on him. And he's walking down. And who am I to judge? I lived on 4th Street. So I'm like, okay, I'm not judging him. But he's walking down. I heave the gallon jug of water and yell juggalo, and something. He turns around to flip me off and it slams him in the face. You see the paint moving across his face like it's escaping a fire. And you'd think I'd go, man, like I'm such a bad person. Why would I do that? And we went and drove down to Idlewild, and I did it to 4 other people. But this is when I realized something was wrong with my body from the fights we've been in. The last guy, I throw a gallon jug of water and my shoulder goes out. So I throw it and go, as my shoulder goes out. And the guy's looking at me like, that's not very intimidating, because I was like, oh, my shoulder. And we park like a quarter mile away from him. So he's running towards us. I was like, I need like naproxen sodium, man. My shoulder hurts. He's like, we're going to get in a fight. I go, drive me to Rayleigh's. Come on, man. Like, and I'm frustrated. I'm trying to do stretches I saw my mom do, for like aerobics and stuff, and trying to figure that out. And we go get that. I take naproxen sodium. Everyone leaves. And I get home to my apartment. I'm like feeling embarrassed. So I go to the store and buy gallon jugs of water and go drive by myself to throw them at random strangers. And
like you do.
And the next 40 minutes, I tagged 2 or 3 more people. And I went to bed at 3 a.m. and taught kids at preschool Head Start at 7 a.m. And that's how I was a teacher. So, Cliff, your turn.
That was awesome. All right, so circa 2001, right? So I work for a company that it distributes wire and stuff, and they need help in their warehouse in Jersey, right? So I go with the other guys that work. John, this big black dude, and it'll matter. Trust me, it'll matter. So he's a giant black dude. He's martial arts all his life. And the reason why I went with him is because I had as well. So we had that in common. Fly to the East Coast. We get into the airport about 1 a.m. in the morning. Gets the car, and we don't know where we're at. It's dark. We were going 2001. There's not like GPS or maps or anything like that. So we have to go by what we think we know. So anyways, driving to go was of like country ass New Jersey, rolling hills, green grass, like in the middle of nowhere, man. So
beautiful New Jersey.
Beautiful New Jersey, like, but it was green. It was like end of May, so it was like beautiful, man, like green everywhere. It was super nice. So we're just driving. Decides he wants to like pull off and just find some spot to ask us to go. So at the time, he pulls off a White Castle burger, right? And it's like 1 a.m, the only thing open. It's like, I'm this white dude, obviously white dude, head shaved, and I'm with this giant black. We'll walk into this joint, and there's bars on all the windows and everything. That's like, I had never, right? So there's bars on everything. Like, to actually order was like glass and bars, and you had to push your money under the slot to actually order. It was like hardcore.
Yeah,
so anyways,
the East Coast.
Yeah, so we're in there, and there's like 10 hard-ass pipe hit the corner, and we're asking directions. And they go, who the is this white boy? And they go, oh, that big black guy must be his bodyguard, right? And he like looks at me and goes, we got to get out of here. You're going to get killed. I'm like, yeah, cool, man, let's go. Go, right? Like, we hop in the car, knows we're supposed to drive. We're driving forever. It's forever, right? And I'm like, dude, let's just get to the hotel. He's like, I don't know where I'm going. Pulls off the highway. And it's not like here, like pull off the highway, right? And pull back on the highway. But over there, they have like frontage roads that run parallel each highway, right? So he pulls off the highway. He can't get back on the highway. So I don't know where the hell they're going. Right, so he pulls into the neighborhood, stops, and this crackhead broad like, walks up to us, is trying to sell us crack. She tries like the car, right? And he's like, "Don't let that jump in the car, dude." It's like this fucking crackhead broad's like, "Jump in the car." And he like turns off, and dude, what are you doing, man? Let's kill. So, anyways, he gets to the hotel, and he's like, "Dude, you almost died." And I'm like, "I know, dude. I almost died because I'm obviously not from here. All I'm doing, young, but." Here I am in the flesh.
Living
Sean and I smoked crack at my birthday when we were 14.
Yeah, that was good.
Crack.
That was the worst and best birthday ever. And Sean, I apologize for yelling at you at 3 a.m.
I forgive you,
but
man.
I couldn't sleep.
I can honestly say, I've done a lot of drugs, and I really regret my life as kind of a junkie. You know what I mean? And I would even say like all the time smoking weed and doing acid and mushrooms and stuff, but smoking crack, that's something that's tempting to go back to.
How is wasn't tempting. That
I
was
have to say,
I
was
played the
delicious.
same level on an RPG for 3 hours, yelling at you guys for messing with the blinds and being too loud.
I can just say that I didn't care. I felt like crack is the real. Like the thing is, we've tried everything, Seth. Right? Everything
Except heroin, yes.
heroin. I tried heroin. You didn't. And
Good God!
and the thing is, nothing has any type of pull on me except for crack. I can see.
Oh, did
how
you get
people
addicted to crack? Oh, poor buddy. Did you get addicted to crack?
Dude, I have
did.
the best story ever about Coke. Best story ever.
Because
Dude.
why not? Go ahead.
Dude, it's the best story ever. So, I have this old friend since we were 18 in high school. His old man of like my old. This probably happened in 2000, right? We're in his house, and his man like walked with him into his garage. I'm like, hey, what's going on? How you doing? And he's like, I want you to watch the door. And I'm like, what do you mean watch the door? He's like, just watch the door. So my friend's dad busts out his credit 6x6 mirror and a rock in a bag, cuts it up, brings it out, puts it off this mirror, like right in front of me, right? Like, this is my
Wow.
dad, because I don't, like my old man, he's passed on. This is like my old man. He's like, hey, man, he's like, I'm just going to snort this line right in front of you. Watch the door.
Oh my gosh.
I'm all right, dude.
That's
He's
that
like,
Lemon
"All right."
Valley style.
I was like,
Well, when
what
you
the
gotta
hell?
smoke crack, you gotta smoke crack. I mean, you gotta
Yeah.
just,
I mean, if you have to get high, you got.
goodness. Sean, what do you got? What do you got? And I will ask you about heroin later, Sean. But yeah, what do you got?
All right. So I've been doing a lot of therapy lately, right? And I've recently connected a couple of traumatic dots in my life that I didn't know about before. And you'll remember this, Seth. Actually, tell me if you remember this. Do you remember
Lord.
one time we were hanging out in basically the drug den of our childhood at our friend Vince's house, right?
Seth has
And-
left the chat.
And do you remember that I thought I had breast cancer because my right nipple swole up super bad? Do you remember that?
Yeah. I felt worried for you, but I also wanted to say rude comments. But yeah.
Okay. So it was terrifying because I was like, what, 17, and I thought I had breast cancer and was dying.
You had written a
a
thesis about Kevin Sorbo having no nipples like a night before.
That's correct. Anyways, so here's how that happened, I realized, and I didn't realize this until recent. Very, like, the Monday before that, we were in the middle of the 9/11 prank war. Do you remember in high school? We were in high school, also 2001, Clif, and we were in high school, and we had this big prank war between, I don't know, 10 friends.
Yeah.
And it was
yeah. Now I remember. Oh yeah. I made people cry.
yeah, it started out good. It was like somebody put suntan lotion on somebody's windshield and it was really hard to wash off, right?
I said sorry.
And then, somebody spilt a box of golf balls on the freeway and a lot of accidents happened or whatever. So anyways, it was kind of like it was my turn for retribution, and somebody had a brand new Ford Ranger extra cab. And I said, oh, this guy pranked me. I'm going to get that Ford Ranger. And so I spent all night. I went out into the desert, and this was right after I'd got my driver's license. I went out into the desert and I got a trash bag, and I wanted to fill this person's Ford Ranger cab with cow patties.
Yep.
And I went out into the desert, filled a trash bag, realized that wasn't going to fill up a Ford Ranger cab. So I ended up getting 5 trash bags full of cow patties from like Palomino Valley and Pyramid in that area.
It was beautiful.
And I put them in my trunk and in my car, and one was on the passenger seat. And I drove to school the next day, and I filled this guy's car. He parked. I watched him park. I hid in bushes, watched him park, and walked up to his car, broke his window to roll the window down, and filled the cab with cow patties. And then halfway through the day, I started to feel really sick. And he went out to his truck and he goes, "Oh, who did this? This is a brand new truck. This is crossing the line." And I was like all pale and sweating and have the chills. I was like, "Ha ha, I got you." And I ended up getting, I believe, a horrible infection from all of these wet, juicy cow patties that I put in his cart. And that resulted in what the doctor said was having a
Millennium Scholarship.
As a man, having an infected milk duct in my breast, which caused this severe swelling and stuff. So that weekend, I couldn't even hang out and have fun because I thought I was dying from breast cancer. And then
your pranks were always like these clever things, whereas mine was like, "Ha, I punched you and lit your car on fire." And they're like, "That's not funny, you dick."
Yeah.
So.
But at what cost?
Oh, man. I'm like, "Oh, I lit the police station on fire. April Fools." Yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh, goodness. Sean. Oh, yeah. I remember the cow patties because the person you did this to genuinely looked disappointed, not just in you, but in decisions they had made in their life all the way up to this point. It looked like they decided that being born was just really kind of a hassle existing. So,
yeah.
Oh, gosh, man. We need to smoke crack again.
I agree.
I don't know why that's a fond memory for you, man. Like, I felt like my eyes were trying to escape my skull. We were 14, Sean. 14.
Loved it.
Oh, gosh. I did beat that RPG, though. Just saying. Hey, Emily, do you got anything? Any crazy stories? I know your life has been perfect and you've had nothing crazy happen.
I mean, it's definitely not been perfect, but I definitely had a much different youth than the rest of you all. And that.
Oh, man.
Oh,
no, we lost Emily.
Screw you.
oh no.
What happened?
Now we'll never know the rest of the story.
But who did she murder? Yeah. Oh, gosh. We'll never know who she murdered in Paris on the 12th of May. Oh, God. I'm going to say the president.
Seth.
Yeah?
Hey, Seth.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
why does Dutch kickboxing look like Dutch? Because it does.
Yeah.
It looks like they're doing Dutch drilling.
I don't think Dutch people are that creative.
I blame the wooden shoes.
Yeah, those stupid wood shoes. My dad has those. They're called clogs.
It's really weird because you can watch a kickboxing fight and it looks like Dutch drilling.
It really, I wonder, so here's the thing, like, I wonder if, so their influence, obviously, they have lots of boxing.
Sure.
They have, just so much with hands. I wonder if, as a culture, they're so mellow and so chill. I wonder if kickboxing is like their one opportunity to just go nuts, to just, just blast people and just, because my uncle and like aunt are like super mellow, but then kickboxing, they would probably hurt. Emily, are you back?
Yeah, what happened?
Clif and Sean were talking to you, and then Sean said, "I hate her," and tried to like turn you off and get you addicted to heroin.
Damn, I knew it. I was gonna go do heroin with him. I was like, down.
Oh,
but it's fine.
goodness.
It's fine. I just wanted
How
to do
many
something
people in
fun.
this chat have done heroin? I mean,
7.
goodness.
Well,
Well, now I just feel left out, Cliff.
40%.
Emily, though, did you have a story? It doesn't have to be crazy, like murdering a hooker. I mean, we've all been there, but like, what's just something you remember growing up of like, man, that was kind of crazy or ridiculous.
I don't know if there's anything too nuts. I think like the crazy thing I did when I was young was like me and my friends, we'd spend the night at each other's house, and we would steal our parents' cars and drive around town when we were like 13. But nothing ever crazy happened about it. Apparently, we were really good drivers.
Hold on.
That's pretty.
You say, hold on. Let's just rate this for a second. Okay, she goes, nothing really crazy happened, but when we were 13, we stole cars and drove around town. But don't worry, we were good drivers. So at 13, you guys stole your parents' cars and drove around town.
Yeah, but we, but I don't.
Oh no! Continue to justify this, please.
I don't have a good justification of it. I just didn't think it was that. I guess I just think it was that crazy because, like, I don't know. We just thought it was normal. We just were like, eh.
As
What
a
to
good
do?
driver, yeah, what do you do? Go to a pharmacy?
Not in a-
We lost her again every
No!
time.
I didn't do that.
I want to know
What do
who
you
she
do as a
murdered.
good
Sean.
driver? You go to Caro's at 6:30 a.m.
You go to
Carol's.
Rayleigh's to pick up some ibuprofen and maybe like some iceberg lettuce.
Dude, going to Carol's like 1 in the morning with a bomb.
Why is she getting kicked off? I honestly think she's like the best troll. She just starts a story and then ends before she can finish
I
it.
don't
Emily,
know
And
what's
she's back
happening.
just in time to hear you say it.
I don't
So-
know what's happening. It keeps going in and out when I talk. It just doesn't want me.
It
to
happened to me. So it's happened to me, Emily, and it's because Sean is elitist. He hates
It's-
poor people.
It's fine. He was like trash. Just kidding.
So-
The
So
Corey
2
Allen.
a.m., you're 13, you're stealing cars, you're buying iceberg lettuce at Rayleigh's, renewing your insurance. What other mature and professional things, responsible things are you doing with a stolen car at how late at night was this?
I think we would leave like around like probably like 2. We had to like wait for their parents to like fall asleep. But the lucky thing was, so we wouldn't ever do it with like my parents because my parents were probably the most responsible out of every. But my
Yeah.
other friends' parents were like a lot of drunks, so they would just get drunk and fall asleep pretty early, and then we could do a lot of stuff like that. But I mean, and then they had older brothers that would entice the stupid stuff with them, and I think that was like probably around that age, like the first time I drank too and smoked. But then I didn't do that until again, like I was like much older after that. Because then I hung out with all the cool straight edge kids in Carson, which is, they're a great group. But
Did you know Jake
Awesome
Oxaby?
group.
what was that?
XXX,
I was going
baby.
to say, Jake Oxaby's the only one that comes to mind.
Well, I'm also like 10, 15 years younger than
Way to
So
make
there's
us
like
feel
a big
old.
I was
age
those
gap.
parents falling asleep while you stole my car.
You're 20 years younger than
Yeah.
So you knew the Carson kids. Did you know Jake Oxby or Dustin or any of those kids or Mac or anyone?
I knew Mac and all of them, but yeah. I
So
did
you know
Mac.
Mac's dead because I murdered him, right?
Twice.
Verbally.
Yeah, it's not to be rude. It's just he's dead, and I need to make sure that stays in this chat. I'm just making sure.
This just can't wind up on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna be responsible, Emily, I need to know. Like, are you a snitch or are you down?
I won't snitch, I promise.
So, Sean, this actually turned out better than I thought. I thought I was gonna quit 20 minutes in and go watch a British doctor show, but we actually got some decent people on here, except for that nasty Nate 69.
Yeah, what
who
happened
never
to
got
Where's
back.
Nasty Nate? He's a
Who
yes.
chickened out and never showed up.
Oh, I killed him too.
I feel like it's my fault. Poor Nasty 869.
Well, you were cussing
Yeah,
at him.
I just want to
Like a
say,
real
I'm
so
sorry,
and so.
Nasty 869. I was working. I was at my job.
Were you?
You were being responsible.
I was trying to.
Were you doing something else, maybe?
Is that code
Like-
for pooping?
I was going to say heroin, because apparently that's the hottest topic tonight. Goodness. You smoke a little crack, and suddenly all this truth comes out. Goodness.
Crack.
Oh, man.
How is that
I
beer
will
treating
say,
you, Sean?
we got to spend the whole... What was that, Cliff?
I said,
didn't
how
say
is...
anything.
That was Nathan. I said, how is that beer treating you, Sean? Is it tasting any better?
Oh, yeah, it's starting to get a little better. The old dankster.
Well,
You would.
what do you think, Sean? Because I have I don't know. I mean, we can still do this, but I got nothing else. I legitimately have been just paying bills while I've been doing this. So
I think it's good. My son is chomping at the bit to hang out in a hammock, so
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna go facilitate that.
you have a hammock?
Yeah, I'm living the good COVID life.
Is Sean even your name? Since you're leaving out all these details I don't even know about. Heroin and a hammock. Damn it.
Suck on your
There's the life.
heroin hammock, Sean.
I actually have another podcast called Heroin and Hammock that I haven't told you about.
I
been
know
going on
Joe
for
Rogan. I know Joe Rogan gets people on there, but you know what? We're fun, darn it. And darn it, as a dad, I appreciate that, darn it.
This is honestly, did you know that this is the most downloaded and most popular podcast that broadcasts from Pyramid and McCarran?
That narrows it down a bit.
So what can you do, right?
I'm
Haters
going to
gonna
take
hate.
that quote and change it. But
All right. Well, Seth, I'm going to end it, and then everybody can end it because everybody's faithful listeners. So I assume they know what we're going to say. So this has been Tales from the Ditch. Zip it up.
Zip it out.